Hey guys, Tim, Big Dog Forge here. Wow, it's been a lot of videos lately. Been off for several days, but between Christmas and New Year's, that's coming to an end. Probably going to get back to video a week, maybe 2 videos a week, something like that. This will slow down a little bit. Anyway, got a little project. A friend of mine, his son, is going to, I don't know if it's graduating or, I don't know, advancing through Boy Scouts, and he's going to become an Eagle Scout, and he asked me if I could do a striker for him, a flint striker. He's using I don't know, some store-bought flint and steel from, Campers RS or Camp World or someplace like that, and he wants something more authentic. So I'm going to do that for him for a little graduation gift, I guess you might call it. So anyway, take a look at this. Tell me what you think. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, we're going to start off with this dirty old file, and we're going to take one of these little boxes, kind of like an Altoid tin, and we're going to throw it in the forge and cook it up, give him something to put his tinder in. So we're going to get this thing into the forge, and we're going to get it good and hot up past critical, and we'll let it anneal on the anvil a couple of times just to make sure it's all relaxed, a little easier to work with. Alright, we're going to hold on to the tang of that file, and we're going to isolate the end that will be the handle with the power hammer here. A lot of this I'm going to do by hand, but I wanted to get it done quick, so I drew the handle out on the power hammer. And I just used a piece of 1-inch round stainless as a fuller there to get that offset going. And then we'll just draw that down. And this file material, I know a lot of folks have different ways of working it, but I like to keep it up at a good yellow heat. Keep it from cracking, makes it more malleable, and it seems to work a little better. I don't want any cracks developing. I have a tendency when I'm working on the power hammer to work things a little colder, and I had to watch myself here because I did that a couple of times, but luckily I didn't crack anything. So I put pretty much all the steps in this video. Sometimes I'll take things out, or boring parts, remove them, but I pretty much left everything in this one, so I think it's about 12-13 minutes long, something like that. Hope you don't mind. Yeah, we're just drawing that down to a taper. Not the final taper, but somewhat of a taper, and we're going to round that handle off a little bit. Makes it a little more comfortable in your hand. There we go. It's a good start. We get it over to the hot cut. Now what I did is I just took my knuckles, the width of my knuckles, and I measured from that offset down to where I wanted to cut it off on the Hardy. And I'm going to narrow that blade up a little bit, which will draw it out and make it just a little wider than my hand by probably ½ an inch. You don't need that blade as wide as the file was, so we're going to take that thing down to about 1 inch wide or so. You want a little bit of weight in these things. There's a reason they call them a striker. Alright, what we're going to do is just start bending this thing over the horn a little bit, and we're going to take it, part of the way around. Get a little sharper bend in there on the edge of the anvil. And then we're going to take it over to the vise, and we're going to take that thing to just past 90 degrees on the handle. We're not going to make a big loop at the end of this thing. We're going to keep it down as close to the blade as we can. You got to be able to put them in your pocket, things like that. And we'll just do some tidying up. You can see that handle's a little bit bigger around than the blade, just for comfort in your hand. Like I said, we're going to get this just a little more than 90. And the horn on my big anvil here is a little bit too large to get a good inside corner on this thing. So we're going to take it over to the mild steel anvil. It's got the finest horn on it in the shop. Get this thing set down a little bit. And we're actually going to put an inside curve just at the back of the blade, right where the handle comes down, right back in there, and we'll use this horn to do it with. Kind of gives a place for your lowest finger to fit down in behind there. Kind of gets rid of that inside sharp corner, rounds things off a little bit. You don't want a sharp corner in there anyway. Give you a potential for cracking when you heat treat. And we just take a little finer taper on the end of this thing so we can put a little scroll in it. And we'll do that with a hammer rather than tongs, just for the practice. Alright. Just brush it down over the edge of the anvil. And bring it back with a hammer. This stuff cools off pretty quickly, and you can't work it too cold, otherwise you break the tip off. So it took several heats to get it to where I wanted it to be. Nudge that tip in a little bit, get a little more uniform, a little back bend on it. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Something to put a little lanyard or a thong through there. There we go. Close it up. Alright, get it into a little bending fork. We're going to bend it on around. Now this is going to be the first bend. I actually opened it up and re-bent it because what I got to do is where that meets the blade down there, I have to figure out just about what bevel, because I want that handle to come up behind the blade. I didn't want a square end on that thing. Square ends kind of get caught in your pocket. Excuse me while I file my fish lips off here. There we go. And we'll bend that handle down and it'll lay right around that corner. And tuck that little loop down behind that. The idea is that you want things tight and close so they don't get caught on things. If you're wearing it around your neck or in your pocket or your backpack or wherever. So we'll bring that right down behind that little blade. Just like that. Give it a good scrubbing up. And we're going to straighten everything. And of course our handle's a little out of alignment. Let's open up a little bit, so we'll tap that back down into place. Gently, don't crack anything. It's looking pretty good. One more scrubbing. Alright. Clean her up with a wire wheel. This stuff tends to scale up pretty badly, all the carbon in it. You can't get it too hot. Burn the carbon out of it. But you got to keep it hot enough to not crack, so it's a little bit of a balancing act. But it builds up a little bit of scale. And then take a file to the inside corner so there's no sharp edges on your hands or fingers. Does a good job. Alright, and then we're going to grind off the face of this thing. It's got to be nice and clean to make good sparks. And we'll make it as flat as we can. Break those edges just a little bit. There we go. That looks good. Alright. So we're going to let it anneal one more time, and then we're going to take it to heat treat. There we go. Just quenched it in oil. And I didn't show it here, but I heated the handle with a torch a little bit and let those colors run back up into the blade. And then just let it cool on that little fire brick before we give it one more scrubbing up. I think he'll like this thing a whole lot more than that thing he's using from the land of super cheap crap. Anyway, let's give this thing a try, see how she works. Alright. That works pretty good. Just thumb up behind that, you can get a lot of pressure with that thing. Anyway, I tend to throw these things around a lot just to make sure they're not going to break or crack, so. Well, it didn't break. That's a good thing. Alrighty, there you go. That was actually fun. Kind of, it's been a while since I built one of those things. I build them a little differently than most folks, only because I have kind of big hands, and this kid is a big kid. His hands are a little bit large too. I build him a little bit bigger than normal, but I put a handle on him that everybody seems to think is backwards, but there's a reason. This is the guy right here, and it's got a little thong on it. And you hold this thing with your thumb up towards the top and your fingers inside. You can do 3 fingers, 4 fingers, whatever, you know, inside here. And you've got a much longer blade, and your thumb actually helps push against the flint, and it gives you a little bit better spark, in my opinion. I don't know. So, anyway, that's too much fun. Anyway, guys, so thanks for checking it out. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.